Waiting has to be one of the most difficult things we do as human beings. But what if you're waiting for something huge? In this explainer, we're going to dive into a piece that completely reframes that whole experience, especially when it comes to waiting for a long-held prophecy to come true.
So let's just jump right in. Are we there yet? I mean, come on, we've all felt that, right? That impatient kid in the back of the car? But I want you to imagine that same feeling, that same question, but stretched out not over a few hours, but over years, or maybe even an entire lifetime. That's kind of what it can feel like waiting for a prophesied event to finally happen. The source material we're looking at today points out something really crucial. For people who are anxiously waiting for a major fulfillment, that period of waiting, well, it's not just about sitting around and being patient, it's actually a time that's packed with some pretty specific and intense challenges. It's a real test of your faith, and maybe more importantly, your focus.
And yeah, we're not talking about passively waiting for a bus here. This is a full-on active struggle. Think about it. There's the risk that your own enthusiasm just fades over time. You've got skepticism, maybe even ridicule from people who don't believe. And then there's maybe the toughest part of all, facing those quiet, nagging doubts inside your own head.
To really make this idea click, the source uses this brilliant comparison. It says this whole experience is like being a child on a long road trip. And here's the cool part. It lays out two totally different ways we can choose to handle that journey.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because it's all about the choice you make. On one hand, you could be the sleeping child. You know the type. So exhausted by just anticipating what's next that you just check out. You fall asleep, expecting someone to just wake you up when you arrive. The problem? You miss the entire experience. Or you can be the observant child. This is the one who gets it, who recognizes the journey itself as part of the adventure. They're looking out the window, learning from everything that passes by, and they're actually being prepared by the journey for the destination.
You know, this whole idea of active, prepared waiting, it isn't some new age concept. In fact, it's illustrated perfectly in a timeless story that I'm sure many of you know, the parable of the 10 virgins. The story itself is super simple, but man, it is powerful. You've got 10 women. They're all waiting for the same guy, the bridegroom. But here's the twist. 5 of them were wise and brought extra oil for their lamps. The other 5, they were foolish and didn't. So when the bridegroom is delayed, and that's a key part, the ones without enough oil have to run off to buy more. And of course, that's the exact moment he arrives. The prepared ones get to go into the party, and the others, they're left behind.
So what does this all symbolize? While the bridegroom isn't just some person showing up for an event, he represents something much, much bigger. He is the truth itself, or the one who brings it, arriving for all of humanity.
And the lamp with the oil? That's just as important. The lamp, that's our living intuition. It's that inner light that you absolutely need to even recognize the truth when it shows up. But a lamp can't burn on its own, right? That oil represents the constant effort we have to put in to keep our intuition alive and burning bright. And this is the big warning in the parable, isn't it? You can be right there, expecting this huge change, part of the waiting party, and still miss the whole thing. The foolish women failed because their focus was just plain off. They were looking for answers outwardly, getting caught up in human ideas, instead of tending to their own inner readiness.
So, let's break this down. What's the takeaway here for us? Well, the source boils down all the wisdom from this story into 3 absolutely crucial lessons on how to prepare, on how to wait the right way.
Just 3. And these aren't just some vague, abstract ideas. This is a clear, actionable game plan for anyone who finds themselves in a period of waiting.
Okay, the message is crystal clear. Number 1, preparation is an inside job and it's not a one-and-done deal. You have to remain prepared. Number 2, you absolutely cannot afford to wait until the last minute. This isn't something you can cram for. And finally, number 3, the responsibility is 100% on us. It is our job to always keep that inner flame, that intuition alive.
So when you put all of this together, the road trip analogy, the parable of the virgins, these lessons, it all leads to this final, profound, well, it's a total shift in perspective on the whole purpose of waiting.
And here it is. This is the ultimate takeaway. We so often think of a great event as something that's going to arrive and just magically change us. But this perspective, it flips that completely on its head. The journey, the waiting, the preparation, that's the transformation. The destination doesn't change you. You are meant to arrive already changed by the road you took to get there.
And so that really just leaves us with a final question to consider. In your own life, and the things you're waiting for, is your journey changing you? Or are you just waiting to arrive? Are you the sleeping child? Are you the one watching the world go by, learning and being changed with every single mile.